We want to explore some of the issues that Bo has raised with an international group of chefs and a bartender or a bar owner who all have their own experience and expertise in this field. We also have a brilliant moderator for this discussion. So please welcome all of the following. They are our 50 Best Academy Chair for Mainland China, Crystyl Mo, along with Chile's most famous culinary icon, Rodolfo Guzmán, chef and mixologist Valeria Mosca from Italy, and Japan's Shinobu Namae. Welcome. This is Crystyl, and she's taking charge now.
Sustainability. It's a buzzword these days. How many times does it pop up on our news feed every week? Yet many of us are feeling overwhelmed by the environmental challenges we face as people and as a planet. The increasingly dire news about climate change, ocean pollution, and food waste can make us feel like these issues are too big and complex for us as individuals to tackle. So some of us end up taking no more action than sharing the latest article on Facebook. Others of us try to make a dent in our individual actions by using cloth bags or rejecting plastic straws. And still others take it to the next level by building their careers around creating sustainable restaurants and food systems. Today, we're going to hear from a few of the most devoted and renowned chefs bringing sustainable practices to this hugely impactful part of our lives on this planet: how we eat. Some skeptics say we can't feed the planet using sustainable agriculture. We must use industrial practices to produce enough food for the 9 billion people who are going to be here by 2050. This is a false narrative. The question should be, how can we survive if we keep using the current industrial practices? When, as we speak, we poison the earth and water with toxic pesticides, fill the oceans with plastic and chemical wastes, destroy our healthy soils through industrial tilling and monoculture farming, and decimate our rainforests. When you actually look at the numbers, you'll find that we are at this moment today producing enough food to feed at least 12 billion people. The problem is not in the quantity of production. It's in the quality of distribution. Due to inefficient distribution and socioeconomic inequality, we end up wasting approximately half of what we produce. In reality, perhaps the only way we will be able to feed ourselves with healthy and sustaining food is through regenerative agriculture, efficient distribution of the food we already grow, and cherishing and cultivating the diversity of the native fresh foods in our local areas. Today, I'm thrilled to be bringing some hope and optimism to all of us by sharing the stories and experiences of these chefs on the front lines. They are the role models who are bringing passion and dedication to providing healthy food and drink that we can savor while also feeling great about supporting such a critical cause. I'd like to invite each of you to give us a short introduction.
Thank you.
Valeria, would you like to begin?
Yes, sure. Hello everybody, my name is Valeria Margherita Mosca and I'm the head chef and director of Wooding Wild Food Lab, which is close to Milano in Italy. Wooding is a research laboratory who investigates the use of wild food for human nutrition and gastronomy. So we harvest, analyze, catalog wild food, wild plants like seaweeds, roots, fruits, lichens, musks, and other whatever is edible and available in nature. I'm searching a true food sustainability that goes beyond the concept of organic. My mission, I think, is to demonstrate that wild food is an important nutritional and cultural resource with no impact on environments. And in this way, I use gastronomy and mixology just like ways to communicate what I consider crucial now, the cooperation with nature. And basically, I'm a forager, but I need to say that I believe in a next generation foraging that I call conservative foraging. So I use to harvest just invasive plants that can be very dangerous for our biodiversity. And in this sense, I think that responsibility is the most important ingredient today.
Thank you. Chef Rodolfo.
Yeah, well, thank you for the kind invitation. I'm super excited to be here. And, I'm coming from a restaurant called Boragó in Santiago, Chile. So we cook with ingredients that technically only exist in Chile. And we have a very unique geography in our country. And we opened the restaurant about 12 years ago. And nowadays we have more than 200 people behind the restaurant between foraging communities and small producers from the entire country. And after all of these years, we just we moved the restaurant, so we have a new location. The restaurant's been relocated, and also we were opening the first research center for Chilean food. So it's a new stage for us. It's a new era for Chilean cuisine, for our ingredients as well. And yes, so that's about it. Very excited again.
Thank you. Chef Bo.
Hi, I'm from Bolan, Bangkok once again. Well, I gladly accept the Queens of Sustainability by will. And today's or every day I wake up for basically 2 or 3 things. Make sure that the local farmers, artisan producers in Thailand still have their livelihoods. I support them and they support me. The other things is whatever we do in our restaurants and in our personal life or family, we try to minimize our impact to the world of any kind. And the last thing that I wake up for is I cook Thai food so that the next generations, the chef have the platforms of how Thai food ought to be, apart from the diners who like to come in and serve it. That's all.
Thank you. Chef Namae.
Hi, everyone. I'm Chef Namae from Tokyo. The restaurant is called L'Effervescence in the middle of the city, a bustling and busy city in Tokyo. I'm very happy, but also at the same time nervous to be here, how I can contribute myself to this forum. Just because sustainability issue is kind of difficult to get the conclusion. It's very diverse and many individual problems all around. But at least I'm very happy to see those many people are now watching our talk. Then I would like to feel some dots and points are connecting each other to share the information, and then respecting all knowledges. So just have fun. Thank you.
Great. So, Valeria, I know you were interested in this question. What are some of the common myths about sustainability that people believe right now? What do you wish more people knew about sustainability?
Okay. I think that the common myth it's that it must be very important to follow some rules to go through a real sustainability, but I think that it doesn't work so much. Because I think that the best way to change things is to teach everybody to how much could be easy and simple to recreate an individual relationship with environments. And in this sense, I think that foraging is perfect. Because when you make foraging, you have to know everything about nature and ecosystems and biodiversity. And I think that you are obliged to use the environment as a resource, but in a very fair way. And if you learn this, you have the opportunity to learn to respect environment.
Thank you. Bo, you also said you were interested in this topic.
I actually agree with you. Like, it's easy. A lot of the biggest myth is people think it's like, oh, it's going to be too difficult. It's going to be too troublesome. Carrying your own glasses, have your own boxes, use your cloth, and even you do that, other people think like you're fake.
Yeah.
But it's not. And so it's easy enough for everybody to just do it, and we should do it like now. A lot of people also think that it's too late. Why bother? Like, how about our next generation? You got kids. I got kids as well, 2 of them. Like, how they gonna live in this shit world if we don't do anything? And it's gonna be so irresponsible of us to leave the world to them like this as well. Like, you see the girls from, where's she from? The one who refused not to go to school.
Sweden?
Oh, yeah.
Sweden? I got the right. Greta. Yeah, Greta. I want to be like Greta. I'm gonna refuse cooking your food if you not start today. Eating properly, sustainably. How about you?
Yeah,
I just throw him a question.
well, I really struggle about the situation because every time I post about the sustainability on the social network like Facebook and Instagram, people just don't press like.
Oh, I will do the
But
like for you
if
then.
I post something funny and then the like fun things and they just push it, so I just want to transfer that serious situation, a serious problem, not into the dark side, but for the future, bright future side, to make it better. So make it better means like make your life fulfill and make your life brighter. So the finding the solution to the sustainability is, for me, it's kind of the fun game. For example, every moment, every movement, you will pick some, like, for example, like you say, salt, or maybe you will choose which kind of shoes you're buying, or which kind of scarf you're wearing. It's kind of start of the finding the solution, and it's fun.
I've been wandering in the department store trying to find the shoes with Dylan, like zero waste shoes. Is it zero waste?
This is actually this rubber is made by, sorry, this is very dirty shoes, but because I was back from the farm, and actually this rubber is made from natural rubber from the Amazonian forest.
Oh, nice.
That protects the deforestation of the Amazonian
Well,
forest.
leads well into the next question. You know, we feel overwhelmed. We feel there's nothing we can do. Maybe we just won't do anything. We can't make an impact. So all of you being chefs or foraging, what are the low-hanging fruit, the easiest actions that other chefs or restaurants could take to make themselves more sustainable without spending a lot of money? What would you encourage other chefs and restaurants to do, kind of a baby step to get people started? Oh, you said you had some ideas.
Well, if you don't want to spend money at all and you want to save money, you upcycle your waste in the restaurants. You separate the waste properly according to the category. You probably end up with like 20 bins in the kitchens, but you can upcycle it before you dump it into the composter. Like at our restaurant, we separate all the citrus fruit peel in one bin, and then we make the fruit EM of that, and then we use that as a cleaning materials. We use that as sanitizers on the kitchen bins, and then we keep the eggshells on another bins, and then we dry it out, and we use the eggshells to, like, we sprinkle the eggshells in the cabinet so the ant doesn't come, because it's the sulfur that the ants doesn't like. So I think upcycle is one of the easiest thing, because I believe in every kitchen, no matter how much you try, you will have some kind of waste. You will have peel, you have things, but since you have it already, you don't have to spend more money to get that. Make use of it. You probably have to pay for your labors a little bit more to get all that done, but it's better than dumping it in the landfill.
Rodolfo, you're in Chile. You're considered one of the most sustainable restaurants in all of South America. Do you have something you'd want to encourage other chefs or restaurants in your region that they could do to become more sustainable?
Well, I disagree to being one of the most sustainable restaurants in South America. To be honest, that's a big title.
That's a title that
I'm pretty sure that there are
Rodolfo's
many,
restaurant won last year.
many restaurants in South America are doing really good. But more than anything else, I just like to put something on top of the table. The cooks, we do a lot, and it's like a modern cooking in a way. Of course, this is sous vide, you know, and this is, we all have, you know,
The plastic bags
probably
in the sous vide machine.
We're reaching a point that we really have to rethink what we're doing, and you know, we have these methods that we're going back and forth, and sometimes we throw out fruits, we throw out everything on a plastic bag. We sometimes we cook in it, we store it in plastic bags, and maybe we rethink about it. Maybe there is a way not to put everything on a plastic bag and everyone can do it.
What are some alternatives? Do any of you use alternatives to plastic bags?
Well, for myself, it depends on how you preserve and how you cook it. And then I wouldn't criticize 100% about the plastic bag, because sometimes the plastic bag can keep the quality, means that keep the more value of certain food.
So reduce food waste by using plastic sometimes.
So it's kind of balancing all together, not like a 0, but like 100. But we need to find the best point. Well, how we can decrease the amount of the plastic bag, especially the single-use plastic bag. So yeah, that's my point.
The moderation is like the way as well. You can't take the plastic elements of the kitchen because of the food hygiene and sanitation as well.
Yeah.
Where you can, you can. Where you can't, you can't. If he have to choose between the fish and the plastic bag, he probably want to preserve the value of the fish rather than the plastic bag.
Yeah.
So it's at the end of the day, it's our choice, how we're gonna choose. And one good thing is cling films. We use a lot of cling films in the kitchens everywhere in the world, I'm sure. Instead of cling films, you can use a cloth wax. So you got a natural cloth cotton, linens, make sure it's organic cottons if you can. And then you put the beeswax over, melt it first. And then you put like 2 wax paper, top and bottoms, iron it to get all the wax out and left just enough for your cloth. And you can use that. I use that in the kitchen for the pastry sections because it doesn't really contaminate other people. Like I'm not gonna use that for the fish or the meat because you can't wash it in the hot water. The wax are gonna melt.
Yes.
Yeah, but that would be reduce a lot of your cling film use in the kitchen.
Anyone can make cloth beeswax. I actually made it with my daughter last week with her Girl Scouts. So anyone can make beeswax cloth, even 6-year-olds. So this also leads me to another question. I really want to make sustainability feel like it's something all of us have a responsibility for, but that all of us can make small actions to create a collective difference. So what would each of you tell the average diner or consumer they can do to live more sustainably? How can one individual make a positive impact in their daily life? Valeria, what do you think?
Every time I suggest to people to learn to observe nature, because I think that it means to learn to respect it. I think that it's the most important thing.
To connect with nature.
Right. Well, be curious. Ask where the fish come from, where the apples come from. Is it organic? Is it biodynamic? Who growed it? Like, as long as you ask questions, people who cook for you will start thinking a little bit more. I went to the market, the Macau market, the west of Thailand. I'm not going to show you the map again. It's famous for short body mackerel, and they season for it. And everywhere in Thailand, they put this short body mackerel into the foam box that fit it perfectly. I don't know, they like measure it already. And I really want to buy the short body mackerel, but I don't want a foam box. So I asked, oh, do you have another type of packaging? Like, can I put it in some things that is not foams, boxes, and things like that? And then suddenly the seller just like, I actually have a paper box if you like, but you have to pay 5 baht more. And it's like, fine, I pay 5 baht more, but I get paper box. Like if you like start asking for different things for the better alternative, people have that already, and I just like, why don't you put it in a paper box from the beginning and just like display it like that? Oh, no one wants to buy it. But we need everybody to ask for different things. And if you have enough people ask them, they will have the fish display in the paper box.
So I have a big question now. I would love if all of you have something to contribute, which is that we have this platform and you guys have celebrity and influence. What would you tell the corporations or the government in your area that you wish they would do to improve sustainability and protect the environment? Chef Namae, would you like to begin? I would love if everyone can contribute to this.
Yes, recently I started to do the consultant for the Japan airline flight meal, and they're serving like 30,000 meal per month. So it's a big impact on what we source and how we cook and what we eat on the plane. And after we started the session of tasting my recipes and my dishes, and I figure out how the industrial materials like industrial food and processed food has been in that meal, and I detect all those tastes from the former tasting. Then I try to put these all things out. And also, that changed the company's policy and the company's vision in a better way. And then they can believe in how they can cope with these difficulties. Then now I heard that Japan Airlines are spreading their own farm around the Narita airport, and then growing the sustainable vegetable. I mean, it's certificated by Asia Gap. Then put that veggies and greens on the flight meal. So that's kind of a little contribution, but it's in a better word, and make it into the big wave through the big company power. So I still believe in that, small contribution, but from my personal experience and skills as a chef.
Fantastic. If we could get all airlines to
Thai
create sustainable
Airways, if
food.
you're in these rooms, can you please?
Bo is ready for the call from Thai Airlines
No,
right now.
the responsibility is actually rests on Chef Ton if you're in the rooms now, because he's cooking for Thai Airways. So Chef Ton Ka, can you persuade them, please?
Don't put pressure on them.
You can use Namae songs as case studies. So cool.
So how about you for this question? Is there something you would want to share with corporations or the government in your area?
Have you heard about Thai elections? I'm not going to talk about Thai elections. Well, two things that I want Thai government to do something about it is the foam box disposal. As the chefs say, we still need plastic things. We still need foam box things for logistics, for storage, for whatever. But after finish their life in our kitchens, in Thailand, you can't just put a foam box in front of your restaurant. They're not gonna pick it up. They avoid picking it up because they don't know what to do with it either. They just put it in the landfill. But I've been doing a research, what can I do with these foam boxes? And in Thailand, I come to the dead end. But in other places, you can send it to the city council because they have like a facilities to either upcycle it, recycle it properly within the thing. So like I really want Thailand to have that type of facilities. The other things is the bottle. We can't recycle the bottle unless it's brown or green. Otherwise, or like transparent. But all the wine bottle that got an olive green, a blue glasses, no one wanted, and they all end up in Thailand landfill. And I want the government to build the, I don't know how to call it, the
recycling facility.
Yeah, so that you can crush it down and you can come up with other things. It can be a bowl, a coaster, a glass, bottles, and give it another life rather than just throw it into the landfill. The third thing that I want from my government is I want them to ban single-use plastic of any kind in Thailand. Just ban it. Thank you for your claps.
Thank you. Chef Rodolfo, how about you? Do you have any big ideas for corporations or the government in your area that they could do to become more sustainable?
Sure. I think food is becoming more and more important, and for the next generations, I think, unfortunately, some countries are suffering. You know, some people are suffering, and I think cooks were becoming more important social-wise, more and more, and probably within the next 10 years, we're going to be very, very more. So I think the big effort from my case in Latin America, I think government has to work more with cooks. In a country like mine, where food is a new thing, you know, or the food wasn't important at all. It was a matter of fact of feeding only, and gastronomy perhaps. But I think the more the governments are work with cooks, we can tell to people the importance of food. Because for the next generations, we can, for kids, you know, in that sense, I feel that we can have more appealing to good practice in general. Cover new ingredients to forward in that sense.
Great. Valeria, do you have any ideas that you'd like to share?
Yes, I
With-
think that I believe that governments should start considering to insert sustainability lesson into schools.
Sustainability lessons in schools.
Yes.
Food education?
Yeah,
I think
cool.
that
For children.
education is the very important thing in this way. And in Italy, actually, we are working on a foraging program for high school. And last year, we taught into a high school close to Milano, 6 hours a week foraging to some students. And after this experience, they decided to work on their territories and environments. And so this was a big goal for us.
Yes, absolutely.
It's really smart. Like, education is the key as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they understand from the young age.
Yeah, education goes everywhere, not only for the school, but for the government, for the big company,
Culinary institutions.
culinary institutions, and actually I'm teaching the teacher of the culinary school right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great. I have another big question. I don't know who wants to tackle it. Chef Namae, maybe I'll start with you. So if our food system were to reach full sustainability, what would that look like, and how do we get there?
Okay, I take it. I think the definition of sustainability is not the conclusion of something, but the process. So, from my point of view, the sustainability is that continues forever, and then we need to find another solution for another problem, and then probably another issue is coming up and to tackle. So that process. I think we call it sustainability and sustainable thoughts. Then we need to keep on eyeing that what we choose, what we source, what we buy, what we serve, and like every action that we take, then that is coming to closer to the ideal world. But I think it never ends. So that's the reason why I enjoy to find what is the sustainability.
It's not the goal, it's the mean. Totally agree with him.
Thank
The
you.
process, ongoing.
That lasts forever.
I think every country has its own thing. Every country is different, and we nowadays we think sustainability as a statement, as a worldwide statement, which I believe is not. Because, for instance, my country is not rounded. Perhaps it doesn't make sense for us to cook with 100 ingredients that grow 100 kilometers away. It makes more sense to cook with ingredients that are coming from far down south, because you're developing the economies, you're bringing the culture. And I think within the next future, we really have to rethink sustainability in terms of food, because every country is different. Like there's a lot of saying about meat, like, no, you should not eat meat anymore. We should all be vegans. Well, I think that's a mistake, because Argentina is not the same as England, let's say. It's twice as expensive. And in Argentina, what happened within the next future, if in Argentina we find a way to produce organic meat for lots of people in a cheap cost, and also we find a way to produce energy with the animals. So it's a thing that we have to rethink. It's trendy. To be trendy is good, because sometimes can really collaborate, but the most important thing is reality. To know where you come from, who you are, and what you got around. It's very, very important to keep in mind when you're talking about food.
Thank you. So I'd like to hear some good news from each of you has something to share. What are some of the biggest successes you've seen or you've experienced yourself in sustainability in your region? What are some things we can celebrate? Rodolfo, you had. So
I'm glad that the Asian Best 50 got the Sustainability Restaurant Award. You want it, you want it. That's
Yes.
good. That's someone in the industry see the importance of it, and then like
and
it's
we're holding a panel about it.
touchable.
Rodolfo, I think because we are awarded as a sustainability restaurant award,
Yeah,
and then that makes you feel more responsible for the actions and
More
then
weight on.
Of course, it's a responsibility. Like in my case, we are in a country that food wasn't important, and now gastronomy it's flourishing. Like a lot of young cooks are looking what we're doing, and that is a big responsibility for people to say, and for also for work with the producers, for everything you do as a restaurant, it's become something. And I feel, in a way, we all feel the same, like it doesn't matter where the restaurant is around the world. Yeah.
I have a good experience when I'm traveling Thailand with Bo and Dylan, and then you brought us to palm sugar farm, and I, took a picture and also the movie, and bring it back to the sugar cane farmer in Japan, in northern part of island, and they were so inspired by how your friends are making the sugar, and also I brought back some sugar to taste it because it was so delicious. So that kind of producer can also inspire each other. And we can, as a chef, we can also, the diner can be a vehicle to deliver the information and inspire and respect each other. I think the fine dining or whatever the things around the food can giving more inspiration to each other. So food also can be a good vehicle to understand each other. That's what I think is the big little success for me in my personal experience to be connected throughout this Asia 50 Best.
I got the chef who worked with me for like 2 years. He left now, and when when he's still with us, like he see me pick all the rubbish on the different bins because they can't throw it properly. And then after he left, he joined another restaurant. And the head chef of that restaurant, he used plastic spoon to taste the food. So in one service, they go through 400 plastic spoon. And one day he come back to our kitchens and he's like, Bo, can you help me? Tell him not to use plastic spoon because I've been trying to tell him already, but he doesn't listen to me because I'm just like, Akami one or whatever. Like, can I like bring him in and then you talk to him, like not to use plastic spoon, find him another solution or whatever, and that is a little big success as well. Yeah?
Yeah.
Like you've been doing this forever and no one cares about it, and suddenly a chef who worked with us, like, oh my God, can you tell this head chef? Like, well, if he's not gonna punch me in my face, I'll say it. Yeah, and then finally he buy like silver spoon, proper spoon, and he just have a lot of them. That's it. Yeah, and when you try so hard to do something and you don't feel like it's gonna happen, it will one day.
Yeah.
So speaking of next steps, I would love to ask Rodolfo, what's your next step to becoming even more environmentally responsible?
In our case, at the moment we're very focusing on learning. I think it's a restaurant. Boragó is a restaurant that has been in a big learning process. So now we're here to collaborate with a lot of people from different areas, especially in the new research center we're about to open for Chilean foods. And it's of course, this is a new part of gastronomy, you know, but we're so involved that we can help it, you know, like we have to deal with that responsibility. Talking about, we have a very long coast, you know, fishing is such a theme nowadays, worldwide. And we've been learning so much. We probably, the things that we've been able to learn from our coast, from the fishes, from the waffles that grow around, from the fungi life, now we have to share that knowledge. Maybe it would affect the economies within the next few years in Chile, would affect the way we cook, and the access to all of those ingredients. It's something to have all this huge amount of people behind the restaurant. It's not something that we wanted to have because it was fancy or something, but it was the only way to reach those ingredients Mapuches were using for ages. And so nowadays, for instance, this guy is cutting this wafer in the middle of nowhere in Patagonia for a month a year, and now he lives without that. I mean, with those wafers, and now there are many restaurants are trying to use it, to be part of it, or because of course it's delicious. So that's how we were trying to move forward with this research center. We don't know yet. We're about to know.
Great. Bo, I know you had a plan for your next steps with becoming even more sustainable.
Well, I want to move out of Bangkok. That's like my dream. As you say, it's really hard to do the restaurants in the city.
Yeah,
and we
that's a
try
big
really
challenge.
yeah, big challenge. So if I can, I'll move out of Bangkok. Not because I want to be sustainable, but move out of the grids, like create my own powers, water, dealing with my own wastewater, waste whatever. I want to be control, or in control, out of my whole environment. So I'm thinking of moving out.
Off the grid.
Off the grid.
Okay. So we have time for just one more question, and any of you can jump in, but I know Valeria had something to share. I wanted to ask each of you, who is your icon or guru? Who do you learn from or admire in the field of sustainability?
I think that Daniele Nardi is a big icon in this sense. He was a mountain climber, and he sadly died on Nanga Parbat, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, with his climbing partner, Tom Ballard. And his mission was to demonstrate the importance of the full respect for nature. And his dad demonstrates that there is a limit that should be not crossed in the relationship between humans and nature. And I think that this limit should be recognized also in our daily practices. So I think that he taught us a very important thing.
Thank you. Does any of you have somebody who you admire in this field we should recognize?
I have many.
Many?
Can I
Of course.
speak out? Like, the French herb researcher called Francois Couplin. He always traveling around the world and finding the edible plants from the mountain or from everywhere. So I was so inspired by his book. And also Tristram Stewart, he's the activist of against the food waste. So I was in the movie with him for the food waste thing, and then he was trying to revitalize the leftover bread into the delicious beer. So now, last year I opened a bakery, so I'm trying that, and I did a test batch, and then it was very, very successful, like rye bread beer. So
If you need more tester, just let me know.
I will. And of course, Alice Waters, she educates the world on how we can be sustainable and also environment friendly. And lastly, my mentor, Michel Brass. I worked for him for 5 years, and he changed the culinary scene. As he was working as a fine dining chef, and back in 80s, everybody feels like, that like, why does he that? Why did he make his specialty dish with a vegetable? Specialty dish must be meat or fish, but he consists with hundreds and maybe about 150 different veggies and herbs into the magnificent dishes, and that gave the big impact on the fine dining scene for nowadays. And then I was so inspired, and also I cannot neglect him. So, Michel Brass.
That's
Thank
like
you.
the best meal of my life.
Oh.
Sure.
Okay, we are going to wrap up. So thank you to Chef Bo, Valeria, Chef Rodolfo, Chef Namae. In conclusion, what I hope everyone can take away from our discussion today is that true sustainability doesn't simply do no harm. It doesn't just not abuse our resources. The way we eat can actually revitalize the earth and rejuvenate our health in the process. By dedicating ourselves to authentically sustainable and regenerative practices, we can eat happily, knowing our food is supporting the planet and future generations. I'd like to leave you with a quote from the great farmer and philosopher Wendell Berry. The care of the earth is our most ancient and most worthy, and after all, our most pleasing responsibility. To cherish what remains of it and to foster its renewal is our only hope. Thank you.